What's up? Today we're just going to go through different ways to multiply a binomial by a binomial. So binomials we know are two terms in a polynomial. So both of these are binomials because they have two terms in them. So multiplying them together. So there's two methods. You pick whichever method you like. Just make sure you do whichever method you like. You do it well and limit the mistakes. So I'm not going to judge whichever method you make, just make sure you pick the one that works best for you. So, number one, we have what we call FOIL, okay? It's called this because it's an acronym for the F stands for first terms, okay? The O stands for outer terms. Then we have inner terms for I, and your last terms for the L. Okay, so it's just a goofy way of remembering that you need to do first, outer, inner, last, what this looks like. So I'm going to write my problem here just one more time so you can kind of see what's happening. So there's my first, there's my second. So when I say first, what I'm saying is it's the first term of each binomial. You just multiply. It's all multiplication. So I'm multiplying my first. A lot of people draw these lines. So my first would be 2x times x. Okay? My outers would be the outer terms. So the 2x and the 4. Because they're the outer portions of both of your binomials. So 2x and 4. Your inner, sounds like what it would be, are the inner terms. So they were the ones on the insides of each of the binomials. So you would have 3 times x. And then your lasts, just like the first, it's your 3 and your 4 because they're the last terms of each of your binomials. So 3 times 4. Okay? Once you do that, all you do is put them all together. So you do the products of each. So 2x times x, use yesterday's rules. 2x times x would be 2x squared because we add the exponents. Okay? This would be 2x times 4 is just 8x. Don't do anything with the exponent because 4 does not have an exponent. 3 times x would just be 3x, and then 3 times 4 is 12. Okay? Once you have all of these terms, it's a simple, you add them all up. Okay? So you multiply each pair, which we just did, and then you combine your like terms. Okay? So this just becomes a big addition problem. So here's what it would look like written out. You would have my firsts were 2x squared, my inners were 8x, those are my outers, my inners are 3x, and then my lasts were 12. Okay? Create it like this if you need to, but then recognizing that these are my like terms, and just like what we've been working on, combine them. So my final product would be 2x squared plus 11x plus 12. Okay? And done. Alright, now method 2. That was FOIL. Method 2 is box method. Okay, this is more of like a visual. People can actually like put things in boxes and then do the multiplication. Some people like this method more. But I have a lot of people who like FOIL. So again, pick whichever one you like. So now box is, we have a box, correct? On the outside, we set up our binomial. Okay, so I'm going to put my first binomial on top. And each term gets a spot. So 2x goes here, 3 goes there. Okay? Next binomial will just go down the side. X goes there, 4 goes there. If any of these were a negative, you would just put the negative with whatever term it belongs to. But these are both positive, so everything is positive. Okay? Very similarly, as we did in FOIL, you're just going to multiply. So it's kind of like a Punnett square in bio. A lot of you guys have been doing that, so this probably looks pretty familiar. So here we would do 2x and x together, which multiplication would give me 2x squared. Okay, move over to the right, top right, you do 3 and x because they collide here to give me 3x. 2x and 4 would give me an 8x, and then 4 times 3 would give me 12. Okay, so it is FOIL, but it's just the more visual outlook on it. Okay, so then look. When you're doing the part of combining like terms, your like terms are always going to be diagonal from each other. Okay? So this is not a like term, so it just comes as part of your product. You got to add your like terms together. and then the 12 is left without a like term, so add 12 at the end. Okay, your like terms will always be diagonal from each other though. So add those together, and that becomes your middle term. Okay, so that is the box method. So again, you pick whichever method you feel comfortable with. Okay. Alright, so moving down, if you want extra practice, I'll write one right here really quick. Just pause the video and try it. X plus 5 times x minus 2. So give that one a try. Pause, try it out, and you should get x squared plus 3x minus 10. Okay? And if you want one more, just a little bit more of a practice, let's do 3x minus 2 times 2x minus 1. Okay? Give you a chance. Pause, try it out if you want. Please do. It's good practice. You should get 6x squared minus 7x plus 2. Okay? So give those a try. Okay, moving right along. We're just going to make it a little bit more difficult. Okay? This is when we have a binomial and a trinomial. So it's just more terms to be messed with. Okay? So I'm going to just right away tell you that there's one method that does not work, and that is FOIL. Okay? Because first, outer, inner, lasts. There's too many terms for just outers and inners. Okay? So you will see that a version of FOIL will work, but it's very tricky because it's easy to miss a term. So I'm just going to tell you right away, I want you to use box when you're doing a binomial by a trinomial. Okay, so here's what it looks like. You set up a big box. This box might be really bad. Make it big because we have a by a tri. So my binomial will go along the side. So my 6n, here's what I'm talking about, the negatives. The 5 is negative, so just make that 5 negative. And then we need 3 columns here for the trinomial. Okay, so 2n squared is my first term, n is my second, and 7 is my last. Okay, and it's just a huge box like what we did on the front side. So 6n and 2n squared would give me 12n cubed. A lot of people miss this. That really just has a 1. Okay, so 2 and 1 give me 3. 6n and n, that would give me my 6n squared, because n1, and this would be like an n1. Okay, 6n and 7 would give me 42n. Negative 5 and 2n squared would give me negative 10n squared. Negative 5 and n would give me negative 5n. And negative 5 and 7 would give me a negative 35. Okay? And just like before, it's really nice. The like terms are going to be diagonal from each other if you did this right. So that gives you an insight onto what will combine and what won't. So right away, if I'm going to write this out, it would be 12n cubed. Always go to the next highest exponent, which would be my squareds. I'll write it out just so you can see what happens. Negative 10n squared plus 6n squared. Now go to your n's. Minus 5n plus 42n. So my like terms are right there. Okay? And then end it with minus 35. Okay? Combine like terms. Again, these two don't have like terms, so they're just part of the product. 12n cubed. That would become negative 4n squared plus 37n minus 35. So the big box method is the best and most efficient way of doing a binomial by a trinomial. Okay? So just to give you extra practice again, go ahead, try this one out, and pause, and make sure you do get it. Okay? I'm not going to put the work, I'm just going to put the answer. So make sure you pause it. So we would get an 8x cubed minus 34x squared, plus 34x minus 15. Boom, done. Okay, so pause, try it, make sure you do get this answer. All right? And that's all we're going to do for today. So do the Canvas quiz, and we'll pick up with the geometry example when we return on Friday. Thank you.